What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 180 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. What's up, dude?
Another World's in the books.
I watched one round.
I watched a lot of Unite, and then one round of VGC. I did watch one round of VGC.
I watched round one. I listened to quite a bit of the intro coverage and stuff like that because I was making dinner at the time. And then when the actual coverage started, I put it on and we watched round one. And then I went, I think I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, so the big thing is Worlds is in Japan, which means it's on a rough time zone for us US people.
Yeah, which it sucks, but I also understand that they're not gonna change their schedule to accommodate us.
Exactly. It's like we don't change our schedule to accommodate them. But for those that were in the US trying to watch, you pretty much had to start watching at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then you would be up till midnight, 1 a.m. probably to watch at least a couple rounds of Pokemon. I remember going to bed watching Unite Day 1. I woke up to go to work the next day. Unite Day 1 was still playing. It wasn't a rerun. It wasn't a second broadcast. It was still playing matches for Day 1.
That's funny.
But Unite has to get all of its stuff done in 2 days. They don't get the 3-day event like
I did not know that.
Go. Yeah. So Day 1 for Unite was group stage. So it was 8 groups divided into 3 or 4 different teams, and you would play round robin in that group. Number 1 from each group would go on to the double elimination bracket. Luminosity won again. They are back-to-back Pokemon Unite World Champions. So woo, NA wins again.
Can we just say that they're the best until
they are? Luminosity is very good.
And until someone says otherwise, they're the best. And it's going to take a lot to say they're not the best.
Luminosity did not have a very strong regular season play. They qualified pretty easily, but they weren't at the top of the tables all the time, winning events like things like Talibobo, Believers from EU was winning a bunch of events. Nouns Esport, I think, won a couple of their events they needed to win. The majority of the NA teams were here's TTV and Team YT, which Team TTV is a bunch of Twitch streamers, and then Team YT is more streamers.
Is the YouTube streamers?
Yeah, I think pretty much. It's YouTube content creators and then Twitch streamers. I think Enders on Team TTV. They're very prominent in the Twitter community, in the Twitch community, for Unite and whatnot. But NA won again. That's all that really matters. I had a lot of fun watching Unite coverage. They confirmed that we're getting Blaziken, Mimikyu, and Meowscarada starting in September. So it's September, end of September, and then October.
All right, I might come back and play.
I was about to say, I might get you, and I can probably get Ro to come play. It'll be great.
I might. I'm excited.
Blaziken's a lot of fun. Blaziken's it's an all-rounder.
Is it playable yet, or have you just watched
play it
content?
on the public test server?
I don't know how to do that.
It's on mobile. You have to fill out a form, and then they give you a special install file, and you can play it on your phone. The public test server is mobile only. So
yeah, that sounds complicated.
It's a little complicated. Plus
I know it's literally a few buttons to push or whatever, but yeah, I'm good.
It's also the servers are not US local, so you'll be playing on severe ping. So you kind of have to deal with that. But it's a lot of fun just testing stuff like that. I was on a couple public beta servers for other games like MOBA games back in the day, and it's always fun playing with all the new toys before they get shown out into the world.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it can actually be claimed as such, but I was a part of the Magic Arena beta forever ago. And then, it seemed like they were in beta forever, and
They
then
were.
they just went, "All right, guys, it's officially a release time," and nothing changed. They didn't change anything between anything. It's like, sure, you got it. Whatever,
I feel like,
whatever you say.
I feel like if you don't change things in beta, then you're not really in beta.
Oh, dude, you played then, right? You played back in the beta. Like,
yep.
They didn't change anything.
Nope.
It's
It's
been
all
the
the
same model since the beta.
Yep. But yeah, outside of sleep deprived worlds content, we have a new world champion. Congrats to Sohei Kimura for I probably butchered that name and I'm sorry, for their world's victory. Shout out to Michael Kelsch for coming in second. This was, I believe, Michael's first worlds for VGC, and I believe this is Sohei's first win in like first top cut in worlds. So they're both pretty new, quote unquote, to like the world stage. But their teams are awesome. They look amazing. I was really kind of cheering for Michael because they have like the Dragapult Chen Pao Heat Train stuff that I've been like pumping and trying to tell people like this is good, you should play this, and nobody wants to listen to me.
So I went and looked up. Shohei has been playing. It looks like they've been playing since 2017 was their first Worlds. That's as far back as Liquipedia goes on them. So, it had Worlds in 2017, 2019, 2020, 22, 23. I mean, it's been a very consistent world's participant. But I believe this is their first cut, maybe second cut.
Yeah.
Maybe third. I don't know. But definitely first win. I can confirm
it's definitely
that
their first win. I think like I said, I remember hearing somebody say that like this is like their first like big top cut at Worlds, and so it's kind of all around fitting that they finally made it to the big stage and then they just win it.
Yep, absolutely.
Shout out to Maddie Morgan in 8th. There are Maddie Moo. They know who they are. When we first started like our whole VGC podcast stuff, like they were one of the people that I kind of like. I started watching a lot more and started like talking with and figuring stuff out. They are great people. Definitely go check them out. They had one of the cooler teams with like double Genie Goldango stuff. I like it a lot too.
So interestingly, every team has one ghost. Every team has Urshifu.
Urshifu was guaranteed a Worlds win once we got the top 8, but not all of them are Rapid Strike Urshifu, if that makes sense.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
I think there's like 1 or 2 single strikes hiding in here.
Yeah, the thing you sent here doesn't denote differences between like the single strike and rapid strike. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word forms. Look, man, it's been a day.
Blame Pokemon. We'll be blaming Pokemon for a lot of things here in a minute, so don't worry.
Let's see.
They're the ones that didn't make it any different.
5 Chien-Pao, 2 Crest, 2 Ursaluna, 2 Landorus, 2 Tornadus, no Thundurus, bunch of Iron Hands.
3 Landorus. There's 3 Landorus.
Is there 3? Oh, I missed it. Yeah, because Maddie had it down here. Yeah.
It's in a different spot on Maddie's, yeah.
Yep. I just missed it. 5 Iron Hands?
5 Iron Hands sounds right, yeah.
Not every team had a grass type either. The Crest Ursaluna teams did not have a grass type.
Yeah, they were playing Dragonite, Iron Hands stuff.
Yep, exact same 6. Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to go and
we'll have to dig into the pastes.
I'll at least
I
have to
want
listen to Top 8 sometime this week at work. Just put it on and listen to it in the background. I think
don't
the
try to go find top 16. Just don't.
I so what happened?
So to celebrate Worlds, they had a new spectator mode that they were going to show for Top Cut. And I the consensus is they didn't test it properly enough. So when they went and implemented it, it killed the LAN network for a lot of those top 16 matches that were playing. So essentially, a big chunk of them went to sudden death. Which, for those that may not understand like how the rules work, they implemented these sudden death rules now for VGC like matches. So it's like there's like things to deal with advantage and stuff like that. But there's also the rule now that in the case a game gets like DC'd and there's no clear advantage, you play another game. And so a lot of these people who were in a position to might be winning got cut off on their game and they had to go play sudden death games and ended up losing. And then it was a mess. It is just a mess.
Insane. Genuinely insane.
I don't think anybody had any DC issues after top 16. I don't think I heard anything about that after top 16, but specifically top 16 killed the LAN network and a lot of people's games got dropped like mid-game.
That's absurd, dude. Like
it's a mess.
I can't
test
imagine.
Your shit. Come on, guys.
It can't be that hard, right? Like if you're going to put out this thing to do this, make sure it works. Is it that hard?
Apparently. What was the other drama? Oh, all the random DQs.
Which, to be fair, you're playing at the biggest event of the year. Why are you jinning your teams? They put out a thing saying beforehand, hey, we're going to test out some new stuff to see how well, teams are ginned and be able to test them and make sure that they don't actually have that and all. They let people know beforehand, we have better technology to make sure these are legal. Make sure your stuff is legal. So why would you not make sure your stuff is legal?
The consensus is that they were able to do a lot of these checks for home flags. For those that may not be aware of how like Pokemon Home and the games work, Pokemon sent from a game into home get a marker to tell you, hey, this is where this Pokemon has been. And so when you send it from that to another game and then back to home, it'll have, hey, this Pokemon has been here and this Pokemon has been here. And so that way Pokemon Home knows where it's at. And so when you go and search for like certain data for like Pokemon Legends Arceus, it's going to tell you different data if you are looking at the boxes in that game versus Pokemon Scarlet and Violet who have different information and different stuff like that. A lot of these people just put the Pokemon in their Scarlet and Violet game, but they weren't originally in Scarlet and Violet. Like, you had to transfer these up from Sword and Shield or Legends Arceus, aka Urshifu, Ursaluna being the big contributors here. Also Landorus, Thundurus, Tornadus, all that jazz. But it ended up people not having these home flags on these Pokemon raised a bunch of red flags really quick.
Yep.
And to most people, a home marker, it's going to look like a jumbled bunch of code.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're looking for, of course you're not going to know what it is.
You're not going to know what it is. It's because it's an encrypted code, and it's only for Pokemon Home to decipher every time you're in home.
It is literally designed for you to not be able to see it. Like,
and so what everybody's up in arms is like, oh, Jenning should be legal. Oh, Jenning should be illegal. Blah 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 blah. Going back and forth. Make a battle sim. The people who gen, more power to them. Cool. I don't care. If I'm going to go play in an event where it's sanctioned by the Pokemon Company, I am making my team legitimate. Like, I will put the time and effort to do that.
100%.
There's no reason to bring in a gen team. Like, I understand.
No.
It's like, oh, I don't have time. Find somebody who does.
Yeah, figure it out. I don't know what you expect.
Heck, I'll offer my services. Just send me teams. I will build them in game. I don't mind. Just start sending me teams and start compensating me. Sure.
Hey, Carl, can you build me a team? Thanks.
Yep. Just send it my way.
I don't know what it wanted to be, but you said you'd do it, so thanks.
Well, I've got something for you then. It'll be great. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's just they knew what they were doing when they put the Pokemon in the game. Pokemon wasn't like we weren't as worried about that before, like going through regionals. Everyone's like, oh, why'd they start opening it now? Pokemon Home wasn't connected until now. We didn't have to check for Pokemon Home markers until now.
Yep.
And so it's just like, it's not that it's like new checks, it's just they're using the old information to make new inferences. Now that they have like home connectivity, that's going to be a big thing going back and forth. If you want to gen your Pokemon, just gen them in the game and then trade them up. If you don't own the games, I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it's going to work. Find somebody who does have it.
Yep.
I bet you dollars to pesos people who are working like around the clock on making their genning bots and things like that. I'm sure they'll figure out how to add home markers in sooner or later. It's just how the world works.
Yeah, and sure, whatever. Again, like you said, it's whatever, man. It's so
we
ridiculous.
Don't care.
No,
we don't care that you gen your Pokemon. We don't care if you don't gen your Pokemon. We could literally care. We couldn't care less. But if you're going to gen your Pokemon and then complain about getting caught, you can't.
That's on
you. Don't
you.
Get that luxury. You don't get that luxury.
You don't get to sit there and complain that you messed up.
Like, should Pokemon have put specifically very meta-defining Pokemon behind a $90 paywall? Fuck no. Of course not. Never.
Also, at the same time,
it sucks.
Also, at the same time, if you're playing a game where that is something you need, be aware that you need it. Like, it's so frustrating, man, because like you're saying, obviously it sucks that you have to own not only another game, but an expansion pass of said game to be able to play this, to be able to have access to this Pokemon. Yeah. At the same time, you are in who knows how many different communities. If you're playing at Worlds, you clearly know people in the community, right? That is not a thing that you can just say, oh, I don't know anyone. I did this all on my own. I don't know anyone. I'm not buying that for a minute.
Yeah. Again, it's scary just reaching out into the community and just kind of oh, did you actually legitimately get this? How do I know? And it's you just got to build a community that you trust. Like I said, there's plenty of people out there that will offer their services. I know Evan way back at the start of Island Armor, he was grinding for Cubfoos, just grinding them because it's super easy to do.
Yep.
You get access to the DLC areas as soon as you're done with the tutorial. And then Cubfoos pretty easy to get to. You have Pokemon Home now. You can transfer Pokemon in and bring them back and use those. It's super easy to go and get your own Urshifu if you already have the DLC and games in place. For a couple people in the world, that means that they have to go buy the DLC, go buy the game, and the game doesn't drop. Pokemon games don't drop in price here in the US.
No, they don't.
They're
in
going
fact,
to
they
hold
only
their price
ever go
and
up.
go up.
The
fact that the DLC is also it's just literally a code card you can buy at the store, or you have to buy it online at the eShop. That's the only way you're gonna get it. And so, like, if the eShop ever goes down and we don't get another way to get Urshifu's locked to that DLC forever.
Yep. Does that suck?
And
Absolutely.
100%. It is a very crappy situation.
Is
that the situation we're stuck with? Yes.
Do I anticipate that being the case? No. I think
we'll get ways to get Urshifu and some other stuff here soon. I hope, anyway. Urshifu needs to be readily available for this generation to continue thriving.
Yeah, I this whole situation sucks. It does.
Yep.
I am not going to
There's no winners here. There is not going to be a winning side here.
Because, like, the Pokemon Company looks terrible for disqualifying 30-plus players from their tournament, right? Like, from their largest tournament of the year.
Exactly.
On the opposite side, who knows how many people also ginned and didn't get caught and got, and were able to play with their ginned teams. Because, I'm going to say it. To do so is pretty simple. If you've never worked PK Hex, it is the most simple program to ever put together. Granted,
there's also just dozens of bots on the internet for people to use now.
Yeah, I've never done it for Switch games. I've never ginned. I've never personally done so. I don't have a hacked Switch, right? Like I'm not able to do it myself. But man, I've done PK Hex or ROM hacks and stuff that I've played on emulators and stuff, and it's as simple as can be. Everything is just all right. The hardest part might be looking for what tab it goes under. That's it.
Yeah. But like it's a lose-lose situation for everybody. Like the people who are anti-genning is just being all high and mighty. You're not winning an argument here. You're just being annoying.
You look like an ass.
You pretty much. It's just like you look like an ass trying to defend this anti-genning, like, oh, they shouldn't be genning Pokemon to begin with. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing.
Looking over here, I'm gonna interrupt you here. This team in fourth has an Urshifu, an Ursaluna, and a Cresselia. Okay, on top of the normal base static Pokemon that are available in Scarlet and Violet naturally. That team alone costs somebody $200+ to acquire, because you have to buy Scarlet and Violet, buy Pokemon Legends Arceus, buy Sword and Shield, and the DLC.
You're forgetting home as well. You had to have a home.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for home. There is a free version.
Oh,
of home.
True. I forgot there is a free version of home.
You get one box, but you only need the one box.
True.
I have so much garbage in home that I need to go through and clear out, and it's bad. But that team alone costs $200+ in Pokemon game stuff. That's not counting your Switch console. Like, that is just buying games. That is absurd. That should not be how this works. It's a terrible situation. It should not be how this works. Pokemon needs to at least give us ways to get like Urshifu and Cresselia and things like that naturally through Scarlet and Violet before allowing them into a format.
Yep.
Like they specifically made Regulation B and Regulation C to put things like the Paradox Pokemon and the Ruin Pokemon high on a shelf away from players to access until everyone has been played long enough to access them. Why would you immediately go to Regulation D when you just got home access and put these Pokemon in the game? Like, you are asking people to gen. This is what you're doing. It is a crappy situation. It is a pitfall trap. People fell for it, and then they're gonna get got, and now they're on the world stage, and like, they have every right to be upset about it, but you can't go out and complain if you got caught.
No, I can, and I will. It's their fault, Carl.
Clearly.
If Pokemon would just make a battle sim that I could just play, I wouldn't have to.
The worst part is a battle sim isn't even a good answer. Are you ready for this? Every battle sim will have to be made every time Nintendo switches consoles. You will have to buy a new battle sim copy in order to play Pokemon every time Nintendo switches a console.
Well,
You
you're just
also
being
probably have
unreasonable,
to.
Carl.
You also have to pay for updates to said battle sim like DLC in order for it to stay relevant and make money for the game company.
No, you're being unreasonable.
Battle sims do not make a good business model. There's a reason Pokemon Showdown is free. If Pokemon Showdown started charging people to play on their game, nobody would play on their game.
No, absolutely not. Why would I?
Exactly. There's no reason to. And so the fact that Pokemon Company needs to make money in order to keep their stockholders happy and keep other games coming, you can't just make a battle sim and hand it out for free. That's not how the world works. They need money coming in. They need to make revenue off their games. And we're already having a hard enough time getting good console releases for Pokemon games at the rate we're going now. And you're asking them to do more on top of that and give you a battle sim that they have to keep updated every time they want to add new games or new Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't see the problem.
People expect way too much.
No, I want the stuff I want. I don't care what everyone else wants, Carl.
Yeah, clearly.
What I want is all that matters.
But rant over. I'm done talking about it. I've said my piece.
That makes one of us. Yeah, I fully agree, man. It's ridiculous that I don't know what people anticipated.
Let's talk about new stuff. New stuff is fun. We had a direct on last Tuesday, and then we got another trailer at the closing ceremony for Worlds. I have the first one pulled up from the direct, which the direct was cool. I think I nailed pretty much everything on the head because I talked like Detective Pikachu, Cafe Remix, Masters EX, all that nonsense. We even got the date for the teal mask like I said we were going to. I don't think I missed anything crazy. Oh,
yeah,
I
think
thing. The Mewtwo thing, whatever. The Mewtwo thing.
Oh, yeah.
Get your Mew. That was cool. I got a Dragon Mew.
I haven't got mine yet. I was telling you that before we started recording. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that's the thing because I watched the trailer.
Yeah. But we got some cool stuff in the direct. We got to see some new Pokemon. Some new to like everyone Pokemon too. We mainly got to see a lot of like the Ogre Pond and the Kitakami region or whatever it's called. Talking about some of the new Pokemon that we got to see and stuff like that. The big changes I think were we got to see essentially new Evos.
Yes, we have two new Evos
for Applin and Duraludon in this trailer.
We got Diplin, which is absolutely awesome. I love Diplin.
It's so cute. We also get to see a lot of the returning Pokemon that are going to be in the teal mask. I know I saw Ekans and Apom and a couple others that are not really great for VGC, but like are unique for like maybe some other like draft league stuff coming down the line and stuff like that. But I think a lot of the VGC relevant stuff will be in the second part, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I believe Diplin has a evasion-like intimidate effect ability.
Yes,
right?
Which is super cool.
It's like it lowers Pokemon's evasion, opposing Pokemon's evasion when you must pause it right here on this Ogre Pond translation because we'll talk about that in a second. But it's like it lowers evasion on switch in, which if you're playing like a lot of like hustle or lower accuracy moves, that's great. Like your Fire Blasts are more accurate, your Blizzards are more accurate, your Draco Meteors, all that stuff is more accurate, which is great. And then we got to see a cool Tera form for Ogerpon.
Yes.
It's like the mask got big.
So what it reminds me of is it's just like a unique Tera form that's unique to it. And I think that it's really interesting that this is something that we haven't seen, but like it also really makes sense for what we have, right? Like what we know the game
Words are
based
hard. It's
on
okay.
based on the previous gimmicks we've had. Having a Pokemon have a unique Tera form makes a lot of sense, right? Like it was a
Yeah.
matter of time, I felt like, before this actually happened.
Yeah, it's kind of like a combination of like mega and terrestrialization, which is kind of cool. We're not sure how this affects Ogerpon's stats or typing or anything like that. Um, but this also opens the door to Pokemon not named Ogerpon maybe having a unique Terraform
Mm-hmm.
when that happens. Also, we looking at the screen here, we got Clefairy confirmed coming in the Teal Mask DLC.
Love it.
So that might be a VGC relevant Pokemon, kind of just slot that in there. Eviolite Clefairy might do wonders, might do some work. Maybe replace Indeedee a lot of the time on certain teams. I don't know. We'll find out. But it looks to be a very fun DLC for the first part for Teal Mask. It's a lot. It looks like a lot of just like climbing and like adventuring and running around. There's a lot of stuff going on in that one. Whereas the second part of the DLC, the Indigo Disc, looks very much more battle focused.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like its secondary like E4 kind of thing going on. Like I guess you could call it like elite classes or something. I'm not sure. But there's like 4 trainers that you got to fight and things like that. And inside is like the giant terrarium, which we finally got to see a lot what's going on there.
Yeah, that's super cool. It looks so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of like regional variants for like Alolan forms. We've seen a Alolan Executor in the past in one of the trailers. Alolan Sandshrew was just shown on screen. So maybe like you could get like Alolan forms to evolve in the terrarium. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, that would make sense, right?
It'd be a cool way to get things like that to evolve, to be like, oh, if you evolve Execute inside the terrarium, you get Alolan Executor. If you evolve it outside in the world of Scarlet and Violet, you just get regular Executor. And same,
if you do it in this biome or whatever, yeah, it creates an artificial biome for those Pokemon to be able to do their thing.
And that'd be really cool if that's how that works. We're not sure 100% yet. It's kind of all speculation. Also, apparently, Koraidon can actually fly inside the dome.
I was telling Tiff, that is a huge deal. It is legitimately one of my biggest complaints about this game is the fact that I can't fly.
You can glide, but you don't get to actually like fly and travel unless you're very quick with your fingers and use the down up swoop to kind of increase your falling speed over and over.
Yeah.
But we saw a lot of the fossils are going to be in the part 2. Things like Bastiodon, Rampardos. I believe we might have seen Dracovish hiding in here. I don't remember, but I know that Scarlet and Violet not having like a generic fossil Pokemon is kind of weird. Oh, here's the new Duraludon at Evo. Who knew Duraludon was going to get an evolution?
Dude, it's genuinely crazy to me that they're just like, yeah, it'll probably be fine, right?
How high do you think the base stat total on this thing's going to be? It's got to be 600.
What is Duraludon?
Duraludon's 535.
There's no way it's that high.
It is 535. The base stats for Duraludon is 535.
Did they just turn Duraludon into a pseudo?
A pseudo? Maybe.
Dude, people were talking about Eviolite Duraludon. It's like, do you all not remember how little damage this thing does? Like, I know it has base 120 special attack, but like, its special defense is still 50.
Yeah, and I think the idea now is you could do like body press stuff because you're getting. But like, Eviolite doesn't do anything for body press, but now you can do like body press stuff because you're extra bulky.
The big thing is you get your AV boost while being able to play Protect. That's the best part about it.
That's the big thing, right?
Hmm.
It's like you're bulkier on the physical side, so you're not taking as many like big fighting hits. Like close combat's not as scary anymore. You're able to Tera, so that's kind of cool. Archaludon gets this signature like meteor beam style electric attack.
Which is
That
so cool, man.
it
I
doesn't
genuinely think it's a
so
really good ability or a really good
mete-
attack.
meteor beam always charged no matter what. This move doesn't charge if it's in rain. So it's kind of like a combination of solar beam and meteor beam all together, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if Duraludon's going to get the signature move. Probably not. If Duraludon gets this move, hold your horses. This thing's going to be cool. But I think it's just going to be Archaludon getting this one. But outside of that, we also get to see 2 new Paradox Pokemon here in a little bit, specifically Raikou Paradox and Cobalion Paradox.
Which I don't remember their names.
They are Raging Bolt and Iron Crown.
Can I get on my soapbox now?
No.
I'm doing it.
All right.
I'm doing it. I think Raging Bolt's stupid. I hate it. I think it's ugly. And I know it might just be the people I talk to, but everyone's just like, "You're wrong. This is great." And I'm like, no, it ugly, it bad.
So literally, Raging Bolt is based off of like a dinosaur. Like they're all going to be based off dinosaurs, right?
And that's like cool. That's fine. Whatever. This one's ugly.
Nah, this one's fine.
I hate it. I genuinely don't like it. Ugly.
Like a lot of people didn't like Walking Wake either. So
I think Wake's cool though.
I mean, I like all of them. I like dinosaurs.
I'm sitting here hoping that what I really want is for them to give me Triceratops Entei.
Bulky fire type that just
No, I just wanted to look like a Triceratops.
yeah, no, I'm trying like if you're gonna make it a Triceratops, it's just gonna be like a bulky fire dragon type that's gonna be slow as heck. Yeah,
that's fine.
So this next trailer is the trailer from the world's closing ceremony. Not a whole lot crazy stuff, but there is a couple things we want to talk about in this one. Specifically, we'll talk about what pops up at the end here, which is really, really cool. But this one goes a lot more in depth on the Indigo disc because they did a real big in depth on the teal mask in the direct. This is pretty much confirming that we're getting all the starters in the Indigo disc. This includes Incineroar for those that have been waiting for Incineroar to come back.
You have a little bit. You can sit and breathe. It's fine.
We're not getting teal mask until we're not getting Indigo disc until like winter. So I don't imagine this until like maybe January.
Yeah, that's like at the earliest, right?
I think for Pokemon it'll probably either be before Christmas or in January. We also got some new moves spoiled here, which leads me to believe we might get a whole slew of like tutor moves like we did in Isle of Armor, which would be really cool.
Yeah, the new moves that are showcased here are really cool.
This first one is Psychic Noise. It's a psychic type attack that deals damage and prevents healing effects. I believe the inferred effect is it stops things from ability, move, and or item. So no leftovers, no rest, no heal block, no regenerator, any of that.
Oh, I didn't think about regenerator.
Because of the way regenerator works, it works on after you've already switched out, and then it triggers. It triggers like on the switch out, but since this heal block essentially stops it. Obviously, we can't 100% test this yet because we don't have it, but that's kind of the inferred effect. Is it's just like all healing gets stopped.
Yeah, I didn't even think about regenerators. That's a really good thought.
We also got this other new move called Upper Hand, which essentially is like fake out for anti-priority in a way.
Yeah.
Um,
So it itself is a priority move that
yes.
flinches the target before their priority move.
Yeah. I believe
So it's a cool effect.
I believe the way people described it from the information they got, it will fail if the user is not using a priority move. And it
Okay.
will always flinch when it hits. So if you got somebody like in Sucker Punch battles, clap them with the upper hand.
Get them. Pew pew.
And then it becomes a real cool game of like, I have upper hand on this Pokemon. You have Sucker Punch. Let's figure out how this mind game is going to work.
Or another interesting thing is like, if they have a fake out mon coming in, if this is higher priority than fake out, like, or you're faster than them, you prevent their fake out.
Priority. Yeah, if they're the same priority, you can prevent the fake out.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a really cool idea.
I would like it if it's at +4 priority, so it is faster than fake out, so it's kind of like anti-fake out tech. It'd be very popular if that's the case, though. So it might just be +3 or +2. We'll have to see.
Yeah, either way, I think it's going to be really cool. If it's anti-fake out tech, I think it's a very good attack.
Yeah. Next up, we get to see Raging Bolt in all its glory. This is confirming name and typing for people that because we didn't see it before. It's got a new move called Thunderclap, which is essentially Electric Sucker Punch.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it'll always attack if your opponent is attacking, but if you're not attacking, it fails. Pretty much best answer into Waterfoo ever. It's just like you have to force them to Tera or deal with your electric dragon, and like they have nothing that really hits this thing for super effective or at least effective damage outside of close combat. And if they do that, then they're definitely going to lose their Urshifu.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Iron Crown. It's called oh goodness, I'm going to murder this name here in a second.
I don't remember off the top of my head what it's called.
It's a word. It's Tachyon Cutter.
Tachyon Cutter.
So it's steel double hit is essentially the gist of this one.
Which is cool. That's a cool effect. Really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. It also ignores all accuracy checks. So it's kind of like Smart Strike and double hit put together.
Where do you see that?
So it's guaranteed to hit twice in a row.
Oh, guaranteed. Okay, got it.
And so I looked over the Twitter, like the dump for the data for all of this stuff because they posted it on the Pokemon website a little bit later. It's got all that information kind of listed there, and it's kind of just what I'm trying to remember from Twitter.
Gotcha. Now I'm following.
This is really cool. If all of these are like tutor moves, this is great. I love it. I like having all these Pokemon having access to this stuff.
I think the big thing is like obviously I'm okay with those being like signature attacks, right? Like that's fine. That's whatever. I'm
okay with like Thunderclap and Tachyon Cutter being signature. I would love if they're like actually not, but I imagine that they are.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be really cool.
We didn't even talk about typing for Iron Crown. It's Steel Psychic. It's actually a decent typing.
So that just means that Terrakyon's going to be Rock Psychic and Entei is going to be
Fire Dragon.
Fire Dragon. Yep.
Yeah.
Fire Dragon. Okay, type. Yeah.
Fire Dragon's actually really good, right? Like you're weak to ground, neutral to water, weak to rock, neutral to fairy, neutral to ice.
Yeah, they cover each other's weaknesses fairly well.
Yeah, like it's a real good type combination. You only have 2 weaknesses that I can think of off the top of my head, and rock and ground. I'm trying to think of what hit Turtonator super effectively.
Ground Rock Dragon.
That's the other one. Yep.
Is that it?
That's
That
it.
sounds like it.
Because I knew there was one more and I couldn't remember what it was. It's Dragon. And then Steel Psychic is weak to Fire, Ground, and Dark and Ghost. And yeah, that's it. So that's not bad typing either. It's better than the Psychic Grass and the it's better than the Psychic Grass that Virizion Paradox was.
True.
And so to end the episode and end the trailers here, we got this nice little terrestrialization sequence, kind of leading us into what the Terapagos Pokemon's like job is, or what why it looks the way it does. This we don't know what the name of this is yet, but this is a new Tera type.
Yeah. So your theory is that this is going to be,
I believe so. Here's
no
my running
type?
theory. So it's not really a type. It's more of just like I don't know what Tera type I wanted to be. I believe this type will take neutral damage from all types when you terrestrialize. You will deal neutral damage into all non-Tera Pokemon, but deal super effective damage into terrestrialized Pokemon.
That would make sense. That would be cool.
I think that's the most competitively balanced thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was trying, when I saw it saw the thing, and I was trying to figure it out in my head. I'm just like, the only way this works is if it does something specifically to Tera Pokemon, but does nothing special to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Tera works is why this works so well, because the way Tera types work, when you Tera, you still retain your original stab. And so this being a non-type, but it's like a new Terraform kind of thing that everybody has access to, gives you really cool ways. Just I'm going to take neutral damage from everything. Everything's going to hit me for whatever, but I do extra damage to an opposing Tera Pokemon, so I can maybe counter a Tera with my own Tera. But the trade-off is I lose all my resistances that I would normally have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'd be interesting to see how this actually works. We don't know what it is yet. People have called it Rainbow Tera. People have called it Light type or Dream type or whatever. There's a lot of speculation going on. But they did show off that this in the trailer, and it's just kind of reminiscent of the Terapagos turtle shell right there. If you can kind of see it, it's got all the type pieces on it and things like that. And so we'll maybe talk about it more when we get more details, and we'll probably look into how this actually affects the game.
And if I'm going to be realistic, I think that this is going to be a unique Tera for the turtle.
So
what the turtle's name is.
It's Terapagos. So they specifically showed Baxcalibur using it.
Did they? Can you back that up?
At Worlds, they specifically showed Baxcalibur using it.
Never mind then.
So that was the trick. Ideas. That was the trick. It's all Pokemon can use this Tera type. When they were talking about it, actually at the Worlds event, their way they demonstrated it was a Baxcalibur, and so
gotcha. Okay.
So there's a lot of hidden information that if you weren't watching the World's closing ceremony, you didn't get. But I'm very excited. I think this is going to shake up VGC a little bit more. I'm excited to see how the Indigo disc plays out and all that jazz. I'm real excited for the DLC because the baby gets here the week after the DLC comes out, and so I'm literally probably just going to spend my entire downtime that I'm not taking care of Amelia playing the DLC.
Which that's pretty okay.
That's probably fine.
Pretty all right with that, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much been the busiest week of Pokemon we've had in a hot minute.
It really is. We've had a lot going on here the last week, right?
Yeah.
It has just been one thing after another. And I'm okay with it,
Yep. They did announce where Worlds 2024 is, Honolulu, Hawaii. When was they've been to Hawaii in like the last 5 years, right? Like like they did Hawaii once before.
I
Right?
feel like it's been pretty recent. Yeah.
Like I don't remember the last time they went, but it was recent. I'm looking it up now just to make sure.
I was gonna say you're on your own on this one. I have no idea.
I remember seeing it in Hawaii once before. I can't find it right now. I'm still looking. It has been in Hawaii on 3 separate occasions. Pokemon Worlds has been in Hawaii in 2007, 2010, and then 2012. So it's been 11 years since the last time it was in Hawaii.
So a minute.
But the fact that it's been in Hawaii 4 times.
Which, again, not really surprised by, if you want me to be honest.
Honestly, I think part of it is they had a contractual obligation to go to Hawaii. They probably had one set up during the COVID years, and so that's why they're kind of just like, hey, we're going to go here. May not be the best choice to do it still, but we're going to go here anyway, and regardless.
Like, I know it's not great with everything going on right now, but it's the best we got. Sorry.
I think
and if that's the case, like I get it, man. I understand, but
they could have probably belated a year, put it in 2025. But because the combination of Hawaii not being able to keep up with the overcrowding from tourism that's going on right now, everybody is leaving now that like the pandemic is over. Let's go on vacation. Want to know where we're going to go on vacation? Hawaii. Like there are like images of beaches just full of trash because
I'm not surprised.
The native population cannot pick it up fast enough. And it's terrible. It's so bad, and it's just like the last thing Hawaii needs is during their off season in August to September is a bunch of Pokemon nerds going out there to go visit and play Worlds. Again, it's a lose-lose situation. The Pokemon Company would have been out tons of money if they didn't keep up their end of the contract. So they kind of are stuck with it. Hawaii, like the state itself, is in a real bad spot. They don't need all these people here right now going up, especially after like the wildfires in Maui. I'll have a link down below that you can go and donate to Maui's wildfire fund or whatever.
It's terrible. There's no other way to put it.
But I'll probably leave the link down below for some.
And I know the Pokemon Company. I know the Pokemon Company came out afterwards. It's like, hey, we understand this, looks bad, so we're gonna donate to the thing, which I appreciate. I do. And I'm sure
they know this is like, hey, well, this is kind of bad timing, but like we're doing Worlds here. Like here's to help jumpstart this fundraiser. Yeah. They need it, and it's like they needed it before Pokemon was going to announce anything. They should have. Mm-hmm. They should have made the donation probably regardless of where they were holding Worlds, in my opinion.
And I'm sure they probably would have, but I'm sure there was enough backlash that they're just like, we should probably do something about this. Hey, Jim, how much can we allocate this year to charity? Cool, good. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah. Would it be cool to go to Hawaii? Obviously, that's been like on my bucket list since I was moved out of my parents' house, was to be able to go to Hawaii on a trip of some sort. Am I going to go to Hawaii for Worlds? No.
Yes. Oh.
No, I'm not. It's hilarious, right? It's just like Pokemon Worlds during that season. It is their off season, so flights are cheaper. Mm-hmm. I think I was looking through flights just like for the heck of it, and round trip tickets for like a week stay or whatever in Hawaii is like $600.
I mean, that's not
it.
like terrible.
But we were just looking at flights to Peoria the other day, and it cost $700.
To be
and
fair,
that's 5 hours away.
to be fair, Honolulu, kind of has the infrastructure in place for this, as opposed to little nowhere Peoria.
When we were looking and talking about going to Knoxville, flights out to Knoxville were $700, $800 a pop.
Also just atrocious, yeah.
Like, it all depends on just where you go. And because, like I said, it is the off-season, quote-unquote, and so that's why flights are cheaper, is because they still have people going out there, but they're not filling as many seats, so they got to sell tickets to fill the rest of the seats, so they're not wasting money.
Yep.
So if you're going to Worlds and just kind of want to go, be safe, be smart, and book now, I guess is the best way to put it.
I mean, do it. Like, by all means, do it if you're going to.
Yeah,
just be aware that it's probably not the best thing to do so right now.
Be respectful. That's the big takeaway, right?
Yep.
It's just be respectful. Don't
Yep.
pick up after yourself, clean up after yourself. Heck, even clean up after other people if they leave it. Like, people have a tendency out there to just, we're on vacation, and they don't think about the consequences of their actions. So,
yep. Like, oh, that doesn't affect me. It doesn't mean anything to me.
I don't live here. Yeah, no, it still affects you. Trust me.
Yep.
All right, I think that's it.
All right, bye.
Say, get us on out of here, bub.
Absolutely. So, as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This has been one of the episodes of all time.
I mean, you ain't wrong.
In reality, with everything going on at Worlds, it has been a very long week for really everyone involved, I'm sure. And, huge shout outs to the Pokemon Company for making it all happen and making everything work as best as we possibly could. And I think that being said, we couldn't really ask for a better RAN event. I mean, yes, we could have, right? Like,
I'm about to say, there's a lot that could have gone right. That would have been nice, but for the situations that we were in, I think the event overall was well handled.
Yep. But I think it's about time we get out of here. I'm gonna go make dinner so I can go to bed at a decent hour tonight. So
same.
As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening here on YouTube. If you're listening on any of the audio platforms, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out and makes everything so much better for us. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciative. Past that, you can follow us over on X at LR Lessons, myself at Mr. Missouri 25, Carl is at Musical VGC. I still hate it. It sounds atrocious. It's never gonna sound good.
I love hearing you say it every time. It's hilarious.
It's awful.
I know.
I
it's
throw
sad.
up
I
a
just
little
love
in my
hearing you say
mouth.
it.
I throw up a little bit in my mouth every time I say it.
Did you know they got the X taken down off the building?
I'm not surprised. Facebook has like the trademark on the letter X.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's the thing that exists. But I think
you're on Twitch.
Yeah, thank you. You can follow us over on Twitch as well. I know Carl's been doing his Draft League stuff and everything over there, so make sure you follow him over there. That is at LR Lesson. That is at Musical over there for him, and myself at Mr. Missouri 25. Past that, you can come and hang out with us on Discord. Our community is great. I love every single one of them. And if you want to hang out with us and play in all of our events and everything like that, you can always do so over there. Check out the website.
We might start doing Reg D events here soon if I have time.
Who knows? there's a very good chance that we start doing something here soon. You can follow us. You can check out the website at lrlessons.com. You can find our calendar of events and everything up there, so you can see what's going on when. Which, like we talked about, there might be stuff going on sooner than you think.
Yep.
Let's see. What else am I missing?
Patreon?
Check out the merch page. It's up on the website for now. And past that, I think that's everything.
You missed Patreon.
Yes, I did. If you want to support us, you can do so over on Discord, because they have subscription services now. Shout outs to Smeargle for being in that $10 patron tier over there. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so over there at patreon.com/Littleroot Lessons. LRL? I don't remember. Just look it up. We're there. I'm sure that link's down in the show notes. I want to give a shout out to our $10 and up patrons, Papa Swish and Johnny Bravo Sr. So that is going to be it for this week, everyone. Thank you so much. And until then, have a good one. Peace.